We are back at it. Back at it. Another live session. Network is my net worth. I'm your host here, Rell Purnell, aka Car Show Rell. Waiting for J Hall to come up in the building. We're gonna get a quick little talk and y'all, rap about biz, get some updates as well. All right, let me tab him in.
My
J Hall,
God.
what's up? What's up, my guy?
Good. What it is? What's up?
Man, all is well. All is well. Had a lot of last minute changes. That's why you see me in the whip. Trying to log Jade on. Something going on with the computer where I guess the connection where she can't even hear the person that she's supposed to be talking to. The wifey's in a meeting as well. So I'm like, all right, let me relocate right quick since there's a lot going on.
Listen, man, same here. I've been running and scrambling all day. Like as soon as we get done here on the show, I gotta jump in the car and fly across town and pick up my daughter.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
pick up Rihanna and then circle back around and come back. Like it's been crazy. I had to take her back to my mom's house for 2 days. Her mom needed somebody to watch her brother. Because of some work stuff she had going on. She works from home full time, but they called her into work to deal with an issue the last 2 days. So just all we do is pivot, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. So let's try something a little bit different, man. Especially when it's me and you dialoguing. Just to have a moment of transparency. Because we are humans, we live real lives. We're not trying to be on here and say, we're superhuman beings. How was the weekend, man? How was the weekend? How's the top of the week with biz life? How's everything going, man? I'll give you the rundown on me as well.
So it's been good trying to find ways to make time for my family while managing business. The first 6 months of this year, I wasn't as available as I would have liked to have been. So I'm trying, instead of lying to myself and telling myself I'm gonna get this dream vacation where I don't do anything for 7 days and I'm just with my family. I know that that's not gonna happen. So I gotta steal time. That's the new measure for me. So it's like if I have a moment, then I need to do something. Like I had a showing that was probably an hour and a half away over the weekend. My daughter didn't want to go. My wife was like, yo, I just want to ride with you and kick it. So she took the ride with me all the way there, stopped to get something to eat and roll back. Um, just because that's the nature of my business. I spend the time in my car. As far as beginning of the week, just managing business and my business in real estate, servicing your existing clients is so big because you got to make sure that you get the deals that you have going to the table. Um, so just a lot of hustling and bustling with that while trying to generate new business and expand. And now I'm launching some things to try to expand my YouTube presence and so on and so forth as well. So just trying to do a lot of that while stealing moments for myself. And tomorrow will actually be my second self-care Thursday where I don't do any business.
I like
Um,
that.
and I just I take some time to focus on my mental health. I might go get a haircut, or just do whatever it is I want to do. I might just spend the day and hang out with my daughter. But whatever I want to do that is not essential to business, I'm gonna do tomorrow.
I like that, man. I like that. Especially knowing that we've been in the hustle and bustle and the grind and the entrepreneurship and really trying to get our businesses to the next level. That's definitely needed. Me on my end, life is good. Business is cool. We spent the weekend down in Maryland and down in VA with E Vapors, the Car Talk TV fam. We had Pat out there from Pat's Garage Online. He hung out with us the whole weekend. The whole entire weekend that Friday as well as that Saturday. And, we just kicked it, did our thing with cars, man. You know what we do. When we link up together with Car Talk TV, we put on the show. And, we have a good time. They race some cars down the track. I ain't race anything. But the vibes was good. I was a little down that the Saab couldn't make it, but, I had the Bentley out there and the baby Bentley just to have it on display. Wasn't trying to show for no trophies or anything like that, but, just to show it, just to have it out there, put some smiles on people's faces. So that was cool. I actually took all Sunday and like part of Monday to recoup, man, because I was out on the road to like maybe 12 both days, 12 a.m. both days, and waking up like super crazy early just to get the day stuff. But other than that, as far as biz, man, biz pretty much still the same. I just threw out a new ad out there today. For our DC clients. We got an ad running for our Baltimore clients, some Tuesdays and Thursday, deals for people that's looking to, get into some cars and have some nice dining, all on us. Some gift cards, some nice champagne, while being driven in luxury. So, that's the catch up with me, my guy.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All of that sounds great. It sounds like you had a great weekend. You know what I mean? To transition. You started the conversation all talking about, being transparent. So let's just make it a transparent conversation, man. Let's talk about some of the things from an entrepreneurial perspective that people don't discuss, that isn't sexy, that's not attractive, that's not fun to discuss. I'll let you lead it off, and then we'll go back and forth and kind of talk through them.
Cool. So, I got a little bit of notes here. Entrepreneurship, business, it got its ups and downs. And, I'm going to kick it off as far as the ups, when things going good. And I'm going to just speak on, I can really only speak from personal experience. I haven't been in business a long time, but I've been in business long enough that I feel like I can speak on it, being 7 years in business. During the good times, when times is good and you're killing it, you're knocking it out the park, right? I think it's wise, very wise, to not blow through all your profits, not blow through, all the revenue that your company is generating. But, think about getting into a space to eliminate debt, if you have any personal debts or if you have any business debts, as well as, looking at the overhead, seeing if there's, any overhead that you can get out the way as well. Because when it's up, right? When the sunshine, look, you got to ride that wave as long as you can, because we know what happens after the sunshine, comes the rain. But, while things is good, man, you got to ride that out as long as you can. And me, and from my perspective, when things were good, I was building up a nest egg on the side. Not because I knew something or I assumed something bad was going to happen, but, just in case, having that rainy day money to fall back on just in case something happens. Like what happened in 2020, as far as the economic pandemic, recession, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people in my industry, they went out of business. They closed doors. They ain't never coming back. The hotel industry, the food industry, like, we all caught a whiff of it. And, if you wasn't built to survive and, had a nice little rainy day stash for, 3 months, 6 months, or whatever the case might be, you're out of there looking for something else, man. I read something intriguing. It was a business that was in Baltimore. I think 50 years in business, man. They went out of business. I'm like, man, how can you be in business for 50 years and go out of business in 6 months? Like, what was the finances wasn't right? Like, I mean, I would think you would be profitable in 50 years in the business. And I mean, it just baffled me, man. But, it goes to show, like, man, anything can freaking happen at any given time. So, when it's up, definitely stack. Definitely stack. Don't blow it all. Just to have some cushion to fall back on. I got some other good points, but if you want to chime in or make a point, go ahead and do so, fam.
Yeah, I want to share a quick point on what you said, and then I'll chime in with mine, and then we'll go back and forth. So what you talked about, I've seen some, and I'm not sure if that was the same one, but I've seen one very similar to that one you're talking about, and I've seen it for a lot of them: 10 years, 30-year businesses, 50-year businesses. To me, what I take from that is you got to continue to strategize while things are going well. There's a book I read. I'll bring it up on the next pod. The name is escaping me right now, but it's based around talking about the fact how money and revenue like stifles creativity. And a lot of times when you're making money and you're moving forward, you're not focusing on the transitioning trend. So prime example, Radio Shack, Circus City, the skeleton that's left of Best Buy. These are all businesses that didn't do a good enough job of transitioning, right? So like, for example, we going away from the brick and mortar space, Walmart, that sells, Walmart added stuff. Those other businesses took stuff away. So now at minimum, you can get some lunch meat, bread, and milk out of a Walmart now.
Mm-hmm.
And then some Walmarts, you can get the whole kit and caboodle. So they made it so that, yeah, we really want to sell you electronics because that's the higher price stuff we have in our store. But the low grade stuff, the toilet paper and the trash bags is what's going to get you in the door. If you're not doing that, you got to look at moving to an online based model. So I say that to say, as I think that so many long tenured businesses went out because they had an old, antiquated way of doing business that worked and made money for so long that now the Titanic iceberg that's COVID hits, and you like, we have no plan. We have no other way to generate money or whatever the case may be. And some of the stuff I saw, one thing I'll share before I get into my point, with the restaurant industry, what I love is I saw the restaurants, a lot of them, unfortunately, of course, was outside of Maryland. They started making dishes and selling dishes to supermarkets that were prepackaged, that supermarkets could sell in place of their hot food bar. So everybody was closing their hot food bar because of COVID. So now it's like, yo, we're gonna sell orders to these markets for wings, subs, pasta dishes. We'll sell orders to the markets. The market can mark it up to whatever they want to mark it up to. We make some money, they make some money. We can pivot, right? To my point, which really aligns with your point, managing the finances of a business is one of the toughest things you can do, i.e. taxes. And part of what you discussed from a nest egg perspective, you have to also, as a business owner, factor in taxes. I got a fairly nice, hefty tax bill that I'm gonna have to pay here in the next 30 days. And I'll pay it. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'll pay it because I don't want no smoke with the IRS. But
Nobody wants that smoke.
Nobody. I don't listen. I don't need them looking for me. But to your point about staving and preparing is you got to see the vision in advance of not just let me pay off debt. Let me pay off debt to put myself in a position to be able to pay my taxes. Because if you don't, you'll come up against a tax bill when you have a ton of other bills outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, I don't even know if I got this tax money to spend.
Thanks.
And it's, you have to do it on the fly. I was having a conversation with a business owner who I know, and they sat down and they had done their taxes here recently, and they thought that they were going to probably have to spend, I don't know, maybe 10K, right? Once their taxes was done, their tax bill was about 25 bands. They had a great year last year. Great year. Great year leads to great taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So it completely changed their outlook on how they're going to handle things because their accountant was like, yo, I know you was going to Panera after you leave here, but I need you to go home, get one of them PB&Js, a cup of juice, and chill. Because you got to lock in and deal with this liability right now.
Yeah.
So my main point is to coincide with yours. Um, you have to do your due diligence to properly manage the business's finances. So I'll
Yeah.
toss it back over to you, my guy.
Um, I wanna piggyback, man, because one of my topics that I was going to talk about, you actually brought it up. Um, Create strategies to continue growth. You mentioned that. A lot of times, as we went in or knocking it out the park, we get comfortable. We continue to do business the same way we continue to do because it's working for us. And that's something I think if you can master it, you can win in all scenarios by mastering, continue to add on strategies to what's already working, if that makes sense, man. Um, During the good times, man, just don't get comfortable. Continue to keep on the gas. Um, even thinking about investing your profits in other avenues outside of your main line of business. Where if it's launching another business, investing into other businesses or startups, investing into real estate, which we're both very bullish on. Um, just to continue to add on streams of revenue. While the money's coming in.
I agree 100%. It's man, this whole conversation that we're having and all of this, we have good conversations by accident. But I literally was having this conversation with a business owner earlier today. Where part of my focus, obviously, of course, is managing existing business, bringing in new business, normal business stuff. But I'm sitting around now and beginning to strategize what's going to be the next business I create and or invest in
Mm-hmm.
because multiple streams of income, at least for me, was always going to be the plan,
Yeah.
but you have to, I think, as a business owner in 2021, let me be specific. In 2021, as a business owner, you got to have your hands in multiple pots. I'm not saying you need to have 17 unsuccessful businesses just to say that you have them, but you got to have a couple of different businesses going on at one point so that you can move and pivot. And there's a reason why um, large conglomerate companies buy other smaller businesses because they want other streams of income, right? They want to be able to pull money in from other businesses that would not normally be a part of their wheelhouse,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like one of my favorite stories I remember was as a young guy attempting to, I was gonna open up a Chipotle with one of my friends. And this was way back. I'm talking '05, '06. People don't even know what Chipotle was in our area. And I wanted to open one, and I do the investigation, and I found out that McDonald's owned it. And I'm
Mm,
thinking, what, what, what does
I,
McDonald's have to do with any of that? But McDonald's was smart enough to say, we want to break into the market of Spanish or Hispanic cuisine, and we can't. Like, if we run a commercial tomorrow and say, yo, come get the McBurrito bowl, nobody's coming here for that.
uh,
They not gonna like, we're gonna make our money off of the base products that people know McDonald's for. But if we can jump into that lane, because one of our main competitors has been Taco Bell, and we can't compete with them on what they do, but they can't compete with us on what we do. But if we can get our hand into their market and start to pull some of their market share away from them, now we eating off of some of the money from their market, plus trying to control the market share in ours. And I think that's so key as a business owner, um, because a lot of times part of what leads people to stacking money and spending it is the fact that they are not used to having money stacked. So it's there, and I see these shoes I want. I should just cop them. And I'm not perfect. I've made some of those decisions, and I try to be super strategic. It happens, but at some point you got to put a pin in it and say, okay, where am I going to direct the next set of money to be able to make a move?
Yep, yep, 1000%, bro. That's all. That's all I pretty much have for for when things are going good, the ups and everything like that. Did you have anything else you want to chime in for goods or ups before we get into the downs and bads?
Yeah. So for the last thing I'd say for ups is just continue to make sure that your physical and mental health is on point.
Big one. Big one. Big one. Lincoln, what's up? Big one. Man, you know what? So with that, let's switch over to when business isn't going so good, the downs. I'm gonna kick it off with take time to yourself to replenish your energy. Leading off of your mental health. It's funny how we keep piggybacking. I mean, I guess that's because we're so in sync and we kind of think alike. But replenish your energy, man. When things going bad in business, we run around like a chicken with our head cut off. We trying to do everything. We scrambling. We trying to be very creative. At times, and that takes a lot of energy. And when you're low on energy, you can't perform. I've been low on energy plenty of times, and typically I would have to take a step back. If it's a day, a weekend, a week, whatever the case might be, to get my head back right in the game, man. Because you can't operate at your fullest potential when your energy is low. So I'm gonna kick it off by saying do something that you like doing or that you enjoy doing for a little bit, in the downtime, to get your head back right in the game, and maybe you can come up with fresh ideas that you can implement in the biz. Again, new strategies, and it leads back to strategies again. Not only think about strategies in the downtimes, but also in the ups, but especially in the downtimes. Think about other ways you can generate revenue outside of your formal line of business. As you said, McDonald's. Yeah, McDonald's always was doing great, but they wanted to invest into the Oriental cuisine, and their play was Chipotle. Like, I'm just finding that out, bro. Literally, I did not know that. But if a business was down bad and they seen, okay, it's the food industry over here, I want a market share of this Oriental cuisine, the Asian cuisine, and I see it's booming over here, and American cuisine is down. Man, that's a great strategic play to kind of go outside of what you're normally used to pick back up some revenue. Because at the end of the day, man, in business is definitely about helping people and everything like that. But you want to make sure that that your business is healthy as well, that it continues to expand and it continues to grow. So that's what I'm gonna kick it off with.
Cool. I'll throw in there for, weirdly enough, if business is not going well for you, pay attention to business news. And it seems super stupid, but sometimes you need things to spark your creativity, right? So, not that I'm that kind of person, but I'll give an example. So the zip code where I'm traditionally from here in Baltimore has not been seen as a sale area, right? It's an area where you buy property to rent. No first time home buyers are going to want to live in the area, so on and so forth, right? Now, let's say that things were not necessarily going great in my business. A big story here is, so in my neighborhood I grew up in, is the Clinical Racetrack. where the Preakness is held every year, has always been held there. And finally, after years of a fight, they're going to revitalize and put hundreds of millions of dollars to really make that into a real space. And ideally, they would love to get it to a point where not a ton, but maybe they'd have a couple tables and a couple slot machines as well. And so that they could expand and make that a big money-making event, not just during the Preakness, but outside of it, right? So as a result, that's going to benefit those in the community, because naturally you can't have this big, amazing product in a community that does not support it. So systematically, home values are going to start to come up. Shopping centers are going to start to be revitalized, so on and so forth. So that's a way where if I'm looking like, man, business is not necessarily going the way I want it to go. Now, the new move is, okay, well, you know what? Let me start marketing to people that may want to buy and sell in that neighborhood, because now I can talk about the fact that there is some future plans of revitalization there. I can't sell off of that because we have rules as real estate, but I can understand, I can see the vision that folks have for the neighborhood. And that's something that can create creativity for me when looking for business. And I think sometimes as a business owner, you will be surprised. It's almost like a simple way of looking at it is, I don't know how many people I know that will watch the Food Network and then cook something that they saw on the Food Network for dinner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You really just watching it to kill time, but then you get an idea like you could do the same thing within your business. You could be looking at business news and see a move that someone's making in their industry and say, what if I pivoted my business like this in my industry? Oh, maybe that's a lane to go in. And if you're having a creative blockage, like, it's a way to be able to undo that. I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm gonna go with think positive. Think positive, man. For the first time, I'm listening to the audio called it's by Vincent Norman Vincent Peale. The power of positive thinking.
Mm.
And it's a whole spiel. I'm just getting into it. I'm probably about an hour into it, so I'm not going to give a whole lecture. But it talks about the power of positive thinking, and it also kind of piggybacks off of the universal laws, and everything like that. So keeping a cool head. The downtimes does happen, but as long as you continue to stay positive, the downtimes doesn't last forever. Do whatever you can to maintain, your business, of whatever. I thought I even personal story, right? Couple, probably like my second year in the biz, second, third year in the biz. I didn't have some 5K months, 6K, 7K months, going great. Wintertime comes, and I get my first donut month, where I make nothing. It was November. I made nothing. $0. I'm like, whoa, what the heck is going on? And at that time, it was a downtime for me. I'm like, yo, you go from making racks a month to making nothing. You scrambling. I'm coming up with all types of crazy deals. You remember the crazy deals that we was doing where we pretty much was breaking even. Like, you might have made a little bit of profit, but not really much. But doing whatever we got to do so that we can keep the doors open to generate some revenue. I even took on a job with another limousine company, working with them. You remember that?
I remember that.
Look, I had to do what I had to do to keep these doors open, man. Ain't no shame in my game, ain't no pride. I'm like, yo, look, if they could pay me, whatever the case might be, that's better than me not getting anything. So I'll work with them. I can get something, or I continue to work for myself, try to strategically plan or anything like that. I'm like, all right, man, these Hail Marys, they doing okay, but they not doing great. So let me take a step back. Let me rock with them for a little bit, for a week or two, and bringing some revenue, man. And I think knowing your business as well, because a lot of businesses have that peak moments throughout the year, and they have their slow moments throughout the year. So as you continue to do business, you'll know in your industry when your peak moments are, when your down moments are, and that'll help you continue to plan financially to get throughout the years as well.
I agree with that one. I definitely like that one. I would say another thing, when things aren't going correctly, analyze if you have the right mentality in terms of short term and long term. So one thing I learned, and I studied and understood this about my business before I even got started, but one of the things I learned is society in schooling, jobs will teach you need 5-year, 10-year plan, sometimes even longer, right? As a business owner and an entrepreneur, I think it's okay, but there's some fault to that. I think especially if you're starting with a small to medium-sized business, your mentality needs to be, what do I need to do to be able to open up for business tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the easiest way where you can really analyze, because I think sometimes we talk about having bad times. Sometimes a business is going through bad times. Sometimes a business is not meeting someone's 5 or 10-year projection, but is actually doing well.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of that is mental psyche, and we've got to be able to step back to say, okay, if you made $500 as a business today, and you multiply, if you made $500 every business day of the year, you may not meet your 5-year goal projection or whatever analysis you came up with, but you might sit back and look at it and say, I can make some real money if I make $500 a day, $100 a day, whatever type of business it is. I think for so long we come in with these big grand projections, and we pay for these QuickBooks type services, and you watch these self-help videos and people breaking down how they make their revenue, et cetera, and all of that. When at the end of the day, what it comes down to is just focus on what you have going on in the moment. And as long as you can open up the doors of your business tomorrow, you won.
And I like that one. Quick question for you, bro, and I'll answer the question as well. Do you think you're on a treadmill? Like, you continue to run, you achieve this goal, and then you're on to the next goal. Like, it's no stops.
Yes. So I love the analogy. I believe I'm on a treadmill. But I believe I'm on a treadmill, and like every few minutes I'm hitting the button and it's going faster. So it's not at its optimum speed, but it's building up. But yeah, I love the treadmill analogy. So I would say yes.
Do you think that's a good thing? I mean, well, let's talk about the pros and cons of being on the treadmill, man.
So I think the con of being on the treadmill is you feeling like, where am I going? And where is this going? So that's the con. The pro of it is, and I'll use what a treadmill will be used for, is the health of the business. So if you build good health on that treadmill from a business perspective and it's running, but there's not necessarily a long-term vision, at minimum, you have created a proof of concept for what you have. The downside to that is you got to figure out what your vision and what your plan is. But I think sometimes entrepreneurs, and what we forget is, some people don't even make it to the treadmill.
Okay.
Like that like it's grand opening, grand closing. You never even get to that point. So it's like you've got to. I think it's a transition, and I'm gonna be honest. If you're a self-made entrepreneur, so I'm talking about you coming in with your money, you don't have any family privilege or wealth, or none of that. Maybe you're not already wealthy. You may be middle class, but you ain't wealthy already, and you're building something, you're going to be on a treadmill. Maybe not forever, but you're going to be on a treadmill. Every now and then, you're going to have somebody that comes up with something, and it's out of here. But I think last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to transition to you so you can make your last point, is I think we have got to conceptualize the truth, because some people get frustrated by the treadmill and not knowing, right? So so every day you can go online and see a business that someone will say, hey, this business just came out 5 minutes ago and they just got bought by X company and the CEO made this, right? When you look deep down into it, you realize that company might have been running 5 or 10 years in unprofitability. But the person stayed true to it, right? But when the story comes out, it doesn't sound sexy if you put in the story, man, I went 5 years in the red.
Yeah.
Like not doing anything.
Or had 5 businesses that failed.
Or had 5 businesses that failed, right? The way that you want to sell the story is, yo, I woke up, I came up with the idea yesterday, they called me, I'm out of here. And no, I mean, to your point, I think the treadmill is something that depressed me early on in my business. Now I love it, and I invite it, because that means I passed the initial step.
Yeah, man. For me, I definitely feel like I'm on a treadmill. Just being goal oriented, goal driven. Trying to get to the next level and next goal. But I think I've become, I guess, more conscious of how to deal with it, right? Like deal with the pressure. At first, I'm normally knocking on my goals 1 or 2 years. I'm in my 3rd year. I ain't reached that level, so now I'm learning how to deal with it. Like, okay, as I'm climbing, I can't compare this to the past, because not only am I achieving goals and knocking them out, but the goals are getting bigger. And when the goals are getting bigger, I mean, it may take you 5 years to really get to this one goal, because it's so freaking huge. It's not like your last goals, right? Because, as you continue to do biz, as you continue to grow, you continue to expand your mindset as well. You're like, all right, I hit this. Let me stretch a little bit to try to reach this.
That's a fact.
Now that I'm stretching to try to reach this, I already got in my mind. I'm like, yo, it might take me till I'm, early 40s, 5 years from now, to maybe really get to this goal. But I'm comfortable with that. I'm not up against the pressure. Guess what? If I don't hit that, I'm still gonna be good, because I'm still gonna be way in the sky, because I got this treadmill mentality, right? That yo, shoot for the stars. You don't get it, you gonna land on the moon, and you still gonna be solid. You're still gonna be way far ahead of how what you typically would have done if you weren't on this treadmill type mentality. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the treadmill thing, man. And bro, you can close this thing out, guys. Excuse me. We just was having this short, brief conversation, about entrepreneurship, ups and downs. Pretty much from our point of view. Obviously, it's other things that contribute to ups and downs, but with the time constraints, we just talked a little bit and just shared, pretty much what's on our brain. But I'm gonna kick it over to you, Jay, to close us out, man. With any last thoughts with anything?
Yeah, for sure, man. So my final thought on what you said is, we got to normalize eliminating timelines. And I say that because, me, I'm a big sports guy. And the way I look at business is almost like, like being a free agent, right? So you may not be on a team at a moment, but you got to always be prepared and be ready. And I think the thing about being successful, because we talked about it for a long time, one of the biggest things that fail people from a success perspective is they're not ready when the success comes. They thought it was going to come one day. They've got some 5 or 10 year plan. I'll get there, blah, 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 whatever. And then when it comes, you don't know what to do. right? To me, I think if your main goal in your business is to be a millionaire, you've got to try to develop consistent habits on a day-to-day basis of what you believe a millionaire would be. And just do that and continue to grind and continue to grind. Because the thing is you can say, I'm gonna reach said goal by 50, and you can do it in December. And what happens in December, if it happens, and now you scrambling, because that's the other way I feel like businesses become overwhelmed, because you build something and you know it's going to be great. But then you start planning for, I'm okay if it happens in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And then it happens in 6 months and you like, I don't even know if my business has the infrastructure to be able to handle this. I didn't spend my time preparing for it to handle. So I think we don't know. No one can truly, in my opinion, quantify when their business is going to take off. So the only way to minimize your stress is to perfect your craft on a day-to-day basis and have a willingness to pivot, so that if you sell merch and you get the life-altering order tomorrow, have that skill set to be able to take a deep breath, have a drink, get on your computer, and find a way to fulfill said order and be ready, as opposed to, I'm overwhelmed, I'm having a nervous breakdown, I don't know what's going to happen, I wasn't ready. So that's my final thought on it, bro. I think it's a great conversation. I'm looking forward. We'll be back on our guest mode next week with Ryan Marie Designs out of Atlanta. Looking forward to talking to her about her business growth and how she's grown so fast, man. And this has been a very, I love these one-on-one dialogues that we have, because we try to be transparent, and we bring the guests on and we let the guests share what they have going on. But as we occasionally do these, it kind of brings people back to us to show them that this is some of the real stuff that we have going on, as opposed to always what's up with the guest.
Yeah, big facts, big facts, big facts. And again, I believe in transparency, and putting out transparency moments, and on social media about real entrepreneurship. Like, it ain't always peaches and cream, man. It ain't always up. It ain't always popping bottles. Riding around in fancy cars, and taking lavish trips. We all go through some real life stuff as well. So I love the transparency that we bring in. And that's how I'm rocking, like, from now on and forever.
I'm with you 100%. We're gonna continue on the mode of transparency, my guy. It's been an amazing show. As always, I hand it off to you to close out the show with your famous last word. So shut us down, close us out.
Man, look, everybody, just to piggyback on your last thing, man. Yeah, you got to be prepared. Like, you can have a 5-year, 10-year plan, like you said, and that opportunity can fall in your lap in 6 months. So even though you're in your 5-year, 10-year plan, try to set yourself up to win sooner, because most of the times it does happen sooner than what you plan. God and the universe works in this mysterious way, especially when you're doing good. I didn't watch blessings come my way that I can never imagine, or that I thought would take a lot longer. And we both shared some of those things. But yeah, guys, plan. Have the proper planning and infrastructure in place, because your life could change tomorrow for the better, and it might not take 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. But that's our talk for tonight. I thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching it live, or if you're catching it out on a replay, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because it's going to be up on YouTube. And as we always say, man, we thank you guys for tuning in. We see you on the next one. Next week, we back at it. We back in Atlanta with it. And as I always say, stay positive, stay motivated. Salute.
Salute.